Hi, Nick here. Today I want to show you how to tune your guitar to open G tuning. We're going to start with our guitar in standard tuning. So I'm playing a G chord here, and we're not exactly going to tune to this particular voicing of G. It's actually going to be more like the A shape that we'll be tuning the guitar to. So anyway, we're starting off, again, standard tuning E, A, D, G, B, E from low to high. The fourth, third, and second strings are not going to change. Those are going to stay D, G, and B. What we're going to do is tune down the fifth, sixth, and first strings a whole step, so that we'll end up with the tuning that from low to high is D, G, D, G, B, D. And that's going to be open G tuning. So whenever you tune down, it's generally good to tune your lower strings first. Some people start with the sixth string. I like to start with the fifth string when tuning to open G. And so we're tuning the fifth string from A down to G. Now our third string is already tuned to G, so what we can do is just play the third string open, pick the fifth string, and tune it down so that it matches the third string. So that's the first step. You want the fifth string to be tuned down to G, just like the third string. They should sound the same. They're an octave apart there. So once you have that, the next thing is to tune the sixth string. And that's going to go from E down to D. So our fourth string is already tuned to D. We'll play the fourth string open, pick the sixth string, and tune it down to D. Okay? So the sixth string should match the fourth string as D. And it's the same thing with the first string. We're going to tune that from E down to D. So we play the fourth string open, then play the first string, and tune it down so that it matches the fourth string. So now we have the sixth, fourth, and first strings. They should all be tuned to D, okay? So now we're in open G tuning. Our tuning, again, from low to high is D, G, D, G, B, D. Anytime you tune the guitar, especially when you're tuning several different strings like this to get to an open tuning, it changes the tension on the neck a little bit. So some of the other strings may go a little bit out of tune. If you have a clip-on tuner, it's a good idea to kind of spot check. Even some of the strings you didn't tune may need to be tweaked a little bit. For example, the B string is one of those strings that likes to go out of tune. So check all your strings with a clip-on tuner if you have that. So once you've done that, you're ready to play a G chord in open G. And you can do this by playing the fifth through the first string open. Okay, so that's a G chord. And of course, if you have bar chords up here, they're all going to be one finger as well. That's kind of the beauty of an open tuning, is it makes chords like that easy to play. Notice we left the sixth string out. Now D is technically a part of a G chord, but it doesn't sound good with that voicing. It kind of sounds muddy in the bass. We can use the D for other things, like when we're playing a D chord, but in general you want to leave it out when you're playing chords in open G using this voicing. Okay. Another thing is that open G tuning is also known as Taro patch tuning among slide key players. Slide key uses open G or Taro patch a lot. In fact, the majority of the slide key songs out there are in Taro patch tuning. I'll have some other lessons on how to play slide key guitar as well, so you may want to check those out. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson on how to tune your guitar to open G. Thanks for watching. Okay, as a bonus, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the history of open G tuning. It's actually hundreds of years old. We know it was used as early as the 18th century on European parlor guitars. Slide key guitar players used open G, which again they called Taro patch, as early as the mid-19th century, and to this day it's still the most common tuning used for slide key songs. After that, blues players, especially in the Mississippi Delta, used open G tuning. not just for fingerstyle, but for slide guitar as well. And more recently, Keith Richards has really owned the tuning for his generation, using it on just about every Rolling Stones riff that you can probably think of, except Satisfaction, of course. But most of the most famous Stones riffs are in open G. And one thing Keith did is he took a 6-string off the guitar. And the reason, again, we talked about the voicing for the open G chord, and of course you can play bar chords as well with one finger. You don't want to use that 6-string, so rather than try to avoid it, he just took the thing off so he could strum his guitar hard without having to worry about muting the 6-string. Now, when you're playing slack key or fingerstyle, you probably want to keep that 6-string on because you'll end up using it. But if you're just playing a lot of electric guitar and you're doing a lot of Stones covers, especially if you have an extra guitar that you're just leaving in open G, it might be fun to take the 6-string off and experiment with that 5-string version of open G tuning. Anyway, that's the history of open G, and hope you found that interesting.